Right, so we're going to be starting from the bottom of the main car park and turning into this bit, which will all be cleared out and taped up, obviously. I've cleared some of this course, but the majority of it is still left over from what we rode in November last year. So 3 or 4 heavy storms and whatnot. There's a few branches down and stuff, nothing too much. And I don't know how many days of warm weather we've had, but it's dried out quite nicely. There's a few little sticky patches, but nothing like what it was like. I think it was Friday I came here last week, and it was wetter than an otter's pocket everywhere up here. So we've used some of these sections before, or most of these sections before, in one way or the other. I do try and mix it up here. I've got about 8 or 9k of trail up here that I can use, but unfortunately it doesn't all tie up very nicely as one loop. So I use the best bits of what I can, tie it up, carve a new bit in every time. But so the more people that enter it, the better it is for me, because it flattens down the course where I've raked it out and makes the trails a bit more, I don't know, substantial. That said, Gramacom does drain very, very well, and it's based on a flint heath, so it's quite hard underground anyway. So it's only when you get into the forest and all that, onto the forest loam, that actually becomes an issue. There will be a line around that jump back there, but any of you trusted and self-respecting mountain bikers, sure you won't be riding around it. Otherwise you need to go and buy yourself a I don't know, gravel bike or something. Mind you, I've seen some of those guys send jumps on them, nutters. So this is not much of a climb, but it is from the bottom of the car park level, goes right to the top of the woods, and it's quite soft under the ground as well, so quite leg sapping, especially when your form's off like mine. Looking at the weather forecast for the next couple of weeks, it doesn't look like there's any rain forecast, so I'll probably just jinx that. But if it's as dry as this after a week, it'll be fantastic. After a couple of weeks with temperatures rising and things. Right, just levelling out now. Wish my breathing was. For those of you that haven't ridden, excuse me. For those of you that haven't ridden Gramacom before, it is absolutely pickled with all these little tiny sniper routes, and they're all perfectly rideable, but it does take a little bit of getting used to letting the bike just float around on them. The majority of them, if you slide, you're only going to go as far as the route, then back on the soft ground again. So if you can keep your feet in the pedals, generally it will hold you, which is good. I don't know whether the camera picked it up then. You're sitting there. We've got some residents in here at the second, so we're not using that very top bit of Fire Road. They may be on site when we do our race, but they're very nice, so please don't be rude. So onto our double jump. Again, there'd be a line around this, but it's an absolute walk in the park, that one. You hardly know you've been off the ground. It's cut in nicely after the Halloween race here. So whereas that little bit of trail there used to be a bit drifty, thanks to a bit of bad weather, we've now got a catchment berm on the side of it, which is great. So this Fire Road does hold the water quite a lot. I've been along here and dug the sides out. As you can see, there's a few little trenches here and there, and it should be pretty dry by the race, but worst case scenario is it'll be strewn with puddles. But if it is strewn with puddles, they're not deep, they're perfectly rideable. Don't be scared to go through them, there's nothing hiding in them. I've removed all the piranha and sharks. It's amazing how much this course changes over the course of a few months with the leaves and wind and rain. Some of it is almost unrecognisable, but I've got a couple of weeks of raking and digging ahead of me, so welcome all you lovely people. So it'll all be taped, arrowed, hopefully all the crap will be cleaned off it, certainly anything notable, and I'll leave you to your own devices to smash yourselves around it. So if you've not climbed this section before, you've ridden down it a couple of times, but I thought I'd make a change to go up. It's running really, really well. I've got a pair of 2.1 sort of dry season tyres on, which I thought was being a bit brave, but they're actually working fantastically. I'm yet to sort of have them let me down. I really do need to touch wood after saying that, don't I? So this bit is part of the Core Enduro course, and that was about just over 12 months ago in here. It's still a little bit blown out, but I've filled most of the holes directly after the race, so it's just a case of picking your line through it, and it's only short. So this is the top section that was absolute hell at one of the last races, because we rode the opposite way on it, and it was like trying to drag treacle off a hill. It's not so easy on the way down when it's soft, and a bit sticky at the moment, but seems to be running okay. Can't have the whole course too easy, can we? So somewhere here I've gone wrong. There we go. I just went off to the left a little bit there. This is joining into the hot pursuit downhill section. So we went past their start ramp back there. Plenty of debris on the course at the moment, so I'll be clearing that because we don't want anybody mullering themselves there. So instead of going down around the berm, we're going to be going in in between these trees here, picking up section that we've ridden down the last couple of races. Only fractionally up, and then back down here onto the main fire road. Out of all the sections, this bit up here was by far the worst when I came in here the other day. You can see it's still very draggy. I've cut a couple of drainage holes in there, and it was completely full of water, that midsection there, so it's clearly drying out. Oh, I lost all my speed now. So back up level with the A380. We've got a little bit of a chance here for a breather, which is unusual in my races, because it's usually go all the way through. I will clear all this crap off here, because at the moment it's grabbed your handlebars a little bit. I think it's only where I bought the mule pit when I cleaned up the last race, cut a couple of tyre tracks into it, so I'll grade them back out again, clear all the crap off it, so you can concentrate on having a sip out your bottle rather than fighting with your handlebars trying to stay in a straight line. And if you noticed all the rubbish that I've ridden past in the last 30 seconds, that's from